Yo, yo, yo. Hey, I'm Mark Buckner with the Mark Buckner Group, aka also the Ben Lala's team. And I am here with Joey Toronto, the gingerbread man, baby. Let's bring it.
What's happening?
So I'm here with Joey. We're going to talk about real estate, the real estate market. That's what we talk about in this channel. We talk about living in Chicago, buying, selling, renting, investing, and maintaining homes in Chicago. Joey, tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you get in the biz?
Well, from the beginning or from...
Bridget said get it in and get it out.
Born and raised here in Chicago, went to Lincoln Park High School, went to U of I in Champaign, lived abroad. After graduating college, I was kind of just...
All right, I gotta stop. Not only did he live abroad, didn't you drive your motorcycle abroad? Or was that just in the States?
I dipped into Mexico, but no, that was the perimeter of the U.S.
That's perimeter of the
Ripped
U.S.
around the U.S.
Yeah.
But, I kind of fell into it somewhat. I was really interested in getting into the investing side of things. I read online that you can have passive income, and you could fucking drink a pina colada on the beach while collecting rent checks. Little did I know. So I was investment minded to start, and I thought, being a realtor could be a great way to learn the ropes and, get my feet wet in that. And I'm like, I'm a people person. I don't like the idea of having a desk job, and it kind of seemed to check quite a few boxes. So
You are a people person, no doubt about it.
I like to chop it up.
I love it. So how many investments do you have? Tell us about that.
I have 3 buildings, 17 doors among the 3. So I've got two flats with non-conforming garden units, count it.
Yeah.
And then an 11 flat with a non-conforming.
Where did 11?
Or I'm sorry, 10 with a non-conforming.
I didn't know about the 10-unit building.
It's tough because it's like I feel like I can hardly count it, but I did basically pitch and I'm a passive investor on that one.
Oh hell yeah!
So I don't manage it. I don't.
Okay.
I
so
don't,
you're strictly investor on it. It's not part of your.
I put some money into it. I have a percentage of equity, and I don't worry about that at all. However, on the other 2, I'm very hands-on. I did the remodeling. I live in one.
How old are you, Joey?
I'm 28. I'll be 29 next week.
That is awesome.
Thanks, buddy.
That is awesome. I wish I was doing it at 28. I wish I was. Way ahead of the curve. So let's talk about the market. You and I have worked together on some deals this year. I've loved every minute of it.
Great.
So tell us, why is real estate selling so quickly? What products are selling so quickly when interest rates on the average are sitting at, on the average, say 7%, 7.25%? Why is real estate selling so quick? And what's the hottest product?
I think it's very, very straightforward. There's no goddamn inventory. I'd say the assets or the products that are moving the quickest are going to be single family homes and multifamilies. Go ahead.
So, but in 2022, the start of the pandemic, 2021, I'm sorry, 2020, 21, 22, that was the same conversation. There was no inventory then, but it didn't seem as crazy to me then. What's the difference?
Well, 2020, 2021 was like the middle of COVID, so shortly after that, we started to see this wild influx because things started to level out. I think there wasn't quite as much fear going around, but then, interest rates were still at these extremely low levels.
What were they at, Joey?
In which years?
Like the 21.
We saw high 2s.
Yeah. So one reason why inventory is so low because the interest rates are high?
So if we want to get into the nitty gritty, I heard a statistic somewhere. I don't remember exactly what it is, so don't quote me on this. But something like, 85% of current homeowners have an interest rate below 5%. So everyone and their mother during those years either bought or refinanced. So there's kind of this, pent up, I think, supply where people are kind of waiting for rates to come down a little bit because they don't necessarily have the buying power that they'd like were they to sell their home and then re-enter the market.
Yeah, I mean, people are locked into a lower interest rate. Literally, if you're locked in at 3%, 3.5%, and you're doing an upgrade, right?
Yeah.
So your interest rate's going to double, plus plus your loan is likely going to go up by 50% or more than what you have now. So your payment's going to really go up, and so most people, unless
They want to downgrade.
they're downgraded, which we had a client that's downsizing, or that they really have a life transition happening,
Right.
pushing them into the market. A lot of people are just sitting on the sidelines, right?
Exactly.
So literally, I think this year and last year I think we saw probably about 35% less real estate trade than in 2022, 2021, and 2020.
It's nutty.
And so, right, so like if the house, and blah. So as a result, we have less inventory out there buying, but we still have a ton of buyers. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say, you know, there's still these life changes and changes in circumstance that drive people to buy a home. If you need to buy, you gotta buy.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And, you know, I think there's an argument that wherever the interest rates are at, you know, in the 80s, it's like they were at 18%.
Yeah.
It's like, if you need to buy, you gotta buy.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, depending on how long you're gonna be there for and where you're at in your, you know, your life, it just simply will make sense more to buy rather than rent, you know?
Yeah.
Depending on the circumstances, of course.
Yeah, if you're planting roots for a longer period of time, 3+ years, you're better off buying.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how to win in today's market. How many offers, tell me, how many offers this year, one client, what's the most offers you've written for one client this year and have lost?
This year, jeez, I don't know, 8 or 9.
On one client?
Yeah,
Holy shit, dude.
totally.
One client you wrote 8 different times and you lost.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So, either you're not advising them or they're not listening. How do you advise someone to win in this competitive market? Or you are advising them and they just can't do what?
You tell me I'm bad at my job here, Buckner? I'm
Dude,
kidding.
not at all.
I'm kidding.
Not at all.
I'm kidding. No, man. Listen, I don't think this is
What do you got to do to win? How do we win?
you gotta be motivated as hell. You gotta throw it all on the table. You gotta throw the kitchen sink at it. We're talking, you know.
Tell me. We are
Sure.
talking trade secrets here, bro.
All right, okay.
Give me the trade secret.
All right, I'll give you the basics. Obviously, you're gonna
The
need
basics? How am I going to win with the basics, bro?
I'm starting out with the basics.
All right,
Give
I'll
me a
settle
break,
down.
buddy.
I'll settle down.
All right, you're in a multiple offer situation. First and foremost, you're going as is. You know, everyone else is going as is, whether you like it or not.
Done.
So that's a discussion, right? It's not, you know, as gnarly as it looks usually, unless the place is, you know, fucked up. You're writing a love letter to the sellers.
Okay.
And, you know, you can use what's called an escalation rider. Do you want me to explain what that is to our listeners?
I'm gonna pass on it because I think escalation riders are dated. I don't do them. I don't think you're helping yourself with an escalation rider right now. You need to show me the if I'm the listing agent, you need to show me the money.
Yeah, I don't accept them as a listing
Yeah,
agent.
me neither.
But when I'm repping the buyer, you better believe I'm using them.
And if I'm the listing agent, I'm telling you, if you're asking me about it, show me. My response is,
yeah.
show me the money.
You know what I have done? You reduce the amount of time that the attorney review period is. Say, listen, we don't even need 5 days. Give us 3 days. That way, and then, you know, same with like an appraisal. Like we will get an appraisal over to you within the first 5 days. So if any shit hits the fan, you can turn around, get back on the market, get your other offers, whatever it may be. The whole idea being, you want to give as much peace of mind to the sellers as humanly possible, make the process, you know, quick and easy, and you know, ensure that there's certainty to close.
I like the expediting the appraisal process. Typically, right, like we don't typically we're not just doing the appraisal until the buyer's gone through the home inspection to really make sure the property's right for them. But I do like that the idea of expediting that appraisal to give that seller some reassurance, like we're all in, we're moving forward. Here's mine. Same thing, price is important. I am finding right now, if you want to buy a house in the Chicagoland market, city or suburbs, and you want to win, you have to determine what is the market value, and based off that, if you really want to win, you have to be basically around 10% over this price to even be in competitive stance to win. And so, which makes it difficult, because then if market value, let's use round numbers, if market value is $500,000, and to win, we think you got to put in another 10%. When that appraisal comes back, odds are pretty high that you are going to be dealing with a house that didn't appraise at the contracted price. So the second part of that then is waiving the appraisal gap for me. I'm not as all in as the idea of waiving my mortgage contingency, but I am all in on waiving the appraisal gap as long as you have the funds. And that is going to really, I think, put you at an advantage of winning. But you have to understand is, so if we're waiving your appraisal gap, that means you're paying $550, it only appraises at $500, you're coming up with that extra $50,000 to cover that difference, plus the money that you're putting down and your closing costs. So you gotta have a certain amount of money. The other part that I started to do is then show proof of funds that we have all that money. So if we're putting 20% down on 500, we need to show that. We need to then show we have our closing costs, and then we need to show we have that extra $50,000. Here's all our proof of funds that we can take this to the table. I do like throwing in then, we're gonna expedite. The minute we go on a contract, we're calling for the appraisal right away. I think, I haven't done that. I'm gonna take that little secret sauce Joey's given me and you guys, and I'm gonna freaking use that. I really like that piece of that. As is, what does as is mean is, and I will tell you, like I have a deal right now, we worked on it together, that they did a radon test, it came back elevated, and they did as is, and they didn't even ask for remediation because they really, really wanted it. Now remediation for radon costs about $1,700, $2,000. It was important for them to get the house. They wanted to let that seller know we're honoring our word and keeping it. And in today's market, if you're doing as is, you better be all in as is. You can back out a deal during attorney review if you really find something, but if you really find something, I had another deal right now that I put under contract. The roof needs to be replaced. There's a lot of hail damage. We tried to push back on it. The seller said, no way. And my client kept it because they really want the house, and I've prepped them for that. So we're talking, also giving them the closing date. So let's rerun, talking price, we're talking appraisal gap, we're talking as is, preferred closing date. They need a rent back, we'll cover the rent back. You're basically serving this up, plus a love letter, but I'll take it a step further. Secret sauce from Ben Lales. If you're not afraid of video, do a video. Do a video with the family. Tell them exactly how much you love that house. I love that tip also. Yeah, don't be afraid to get in front of the camera. So these are the steps that I think you need to take to win in today's market. But you really got to bring that money. You really got to show in your presentation of that offer that you really want this home. You're going to take it down. You're not going to get spooked. You are the right one. Your broker's the right one. Your attorney is the right one. Work with us.
Yeah, man.
And court them. You gotta court that listing agent. That's something we haven't talked about.
I mean, everything you're saying. I mean, when you're putting together an offer that's this nuanced,
yep.
They know that you know your shit.
Yep.
They're like, okay,
yep.
This guy, if he's putting together an offer that's this tight, expectations are set. He's a complete pro. Like, this is gonna make it to the closing table.
Yeah.
You know, just by doing all those things, you establish credibility and certainty to close.
I think the other thing I'd add to it, and this is something I'm doing a lot, and it's weird because buying a home is this process where you build trust, but I'm really kind of putting my clients on a fast track pace in preparing them from the get-go. That's why we're doing this video. I'm having this conversation all the time with my buyers right now. Like, this is what you need to do if you want to buy in today's market. If you want a single-family home in today's market, start wrapping your head around this, and the quicker you can start trusting me, the quicker you can start watching how quickly homes go under sale and how much they close over list, the more informed and knowledgeable you are, the more you're going to trust me and the more you're going to go after this property. Because if you don't, that client who wrote 8 times is amazing. Most people 3 and they're done, 4 and they're done. They're just burnt out. They'll suck it up, live where they're at, they'll re-rent. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen next year?
They're gonna keep renting.
No, they're going to cost you more money to buy next year when you decide to go back out, right? Like, if it's everything's selling for 10% more and 10% more, shit, the values will just keep climbing. Joey thought it was a trick question. I do. Ginger, my ginger's turning ginger. I love it. Any final thoughts? Joey
No,
T,
man, I think that was a
JT?
great tidbit. You know, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, there really is. If you like what we're putting down here, be sure to hit the subscribe and hit the bell. You'll be notified every time we do a post. And thanks for watching. Thanks, Joey. Appreciate it, man.
You got it, brother.